Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, February 5th, 2016, and this is the Daily Rocket NA Power Ranking Show. Just so you all know, the Daily Rocket is brought to you by CSGO Unbox. Remember that? There we go. Go to csgounbox.com, use the coupon code SHOUTHIS. You can save $8 on any case. You can also check out the exclusive SHOUTHIS case. If you're a fan of Counter-Strike, you're looking to get some sweet skins but don't want to just test your hand on a random case, and you want something a little more specific, go to csgounbox.com, check out what they got, and get a skin for the weapon you want. You might even score something really fancy. But without any further ado, there we are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NA Power Ranking Show. We are ready to crack into the top 10 teams in North America. And we've got a lot to get to. So, to address that question, I don't know when Rocket League will be coming out for Xbox One. It should be sometime later this month. That's the goal, at least, from what I understand. But I do not know exactly when that will happen. Why is my camera... There we go. Getting pushed a bit. Well, that's fair. That's fine. Hair's a little out of control. It is a snowy day here in the Northeast. Had to do a lot of cleaning up earlier, but in any event, we are getting down to business. So yeah, welcome everybody. I see we've got a few folks who've already showed up in the chat. Always nice. And it is Friday, of course, so that means NA Power Ranking time. So we'll reveal the top 10, or at least go over the top 10, talk about the results, why the teams are where they are, and then, you know, open it up for Q&A like we always do. So we can talk about the NA scene, the competitive scene in general, the game, you know the routine. We do it every week. So, without any further ado, I think it's time we crack into our top 10 and start revealing things. And a very interesting result this week. And this is a really interesting top 10. I'm going to say that right now. It is going to be very interesting. And we'll start with number 10. So number 10 is a three-way tie between Weebs on Wheels, Ascension, and Double Tap. So a three-way tie in 10th place already basically shows just how competitive it is in that area of the in the NA region for a lot of these teams who play through, you know, ESL events and the IRCL and all that sort of other stuff they do. And it shows just how competitive this region really is as they're breaking in to the very top and starting to, you know, get into that top 7, which is usually, you know, held out by the RLC Pro League teams. But yeah, Weebs, Ascension, and Double Tap all in that place. So a very interesting result, and kind of building off of Double Tap having a lot of huge wins this week, sets them up really nice for next week's power rankings, because not only do they have subsequent wins against Weebs on Wheels, which I'm sure is going to pay off there, but they also managed to score a big win against Apollo 11, while also taking Kings of Urban to 5 games in a best-of-5 set. So, Kings, Double Tap, I should say, could be on the cusp of moving up in these rankings very soon. We'll just have to see how they rank against some of the top teams. But I think they have a pretty secure placement on that number 10 spot. But we'll see how it goes. So, there's your number 10. Weebs, Ascension, and Double Tap all rounding out the first spot in these power rankings. Coming in at number 9, Foremost. So Foremost will hold on to their number 9 spot from last week. Not a lot of massive changes on their part. Still proving to be a very formidable NA squad, just having a hard time breaking through the number 18. And I think a lot of us know who number 8 is, or can probably assume it if you follow the North American scene. They're certainly a team that, as far as Foremost goes, are very effective and have gotten a lot of major wins, but their problem has been, again, just getting past number 8. And number 8, of course, being Turbulence. Now, Turbulence is going to move up one spot this week. Turbulence, coming off the heels of a big NA ESL victory this past Sunday, and looking to be definitely a team to beat. You know, that they're a team that is very formidable. They have a win, technically, against IBP Cosmic, but it was the Cosmic that consisted of Gibbs, Amony, and Doomsey, which I think they're now going by Crimson Blue, or 50 Shades of Crimson Blue, or whatever they want to call it themselves. I don't know, but the event being that Turbulence has some wins against some very solid players, and that big ESL result, so that puts them right on the cusp of being involved in that top 7 position. And the top 7 is where things get really interesting, and a lot of what happened in the top 7 has to do not just with the results of this past weekend, but the results of previous weeks. So, as it stands right now, Turbulence stands as the top team outside of the Pro League, and certainly it's good for them, because as new things develop, they can certainly move up in here, and as we have more events where the teams that are in the Pro League are playing other things, they might even have a chance to move up. So, very possible there. So, good job for Turbulence in the top 8. Number 7, Mocket Esports. The former team known as Never on Target, otherwise known as NOT, drops 3 spots this week, primarily due to fairly lackluster performance against major teams as of late. The biggest reason that they dropped down to 7 has to do with the fact that the teams above them have been doing so much better. So it's not that they have completely collapsed, so to say, but everybody else is doing so well that it's forcing them down the list. And that's what happens in these power rankings so often, is that other teams do so much better that teams below them are still good, but they get thrust way down. But as far as Mocket goes, they're having a really difficult time now finding whatever they used to have that made them a former number 1 team. You know, this is a team that we all thought would be a very big challenger against the likes of Kings and Cosmic. But in the past few weeks, they have lost against a lot of teams, and they've lost significantly against a lot of teams that they should have beaten based off of their past. So, Mocket, despite the new sponsorship, has a lot to work on. A lot. And right now, the teams that are above them are starting to shine in ways we had never seen before, or not seen in a long time. So Mocket will take that number 7 place. Coming in at number 6, Apollo 11. So Apollo 11, big win this past weekend in the RLC Pro League. That puts them in at number 6. And despite their loss to Double Tap, which was in the IRCL, they're still in a pretty good spot. Could they have moved up a little higher? Potentially, but then that loss happened and it kind of balances things out. But Apollo 11 looking very strong. They played with Prime Thunder this past Sunday and really looked beastly. I mean, this was a very effective team that proved why they're in the Pro League, proved why they should continue to be a part of the Pro League, and why that's number 4. The number 4 spot in NA is going to be really hard fought. Possibly number 3 too. But those final 2 spots are going to be anybody's game based off how these teams are playing. So Apollo 11 securely in number 6 here based off of this past week's results and how they've been playing thus far. Number 5, Orange Creamsicle. So they're going to drop 2 spots this week because they had a very difficult showing in the Pro League, not quite looking like the OC we're used to. Now, Gambit may not have been there, but regardless, this is a team that should have been able to click a little bit better, should have been able to get better results, but they couldn't pull it off. And OC is going to sit in 5th place, formerly in 3rd, had a really nice showing last week. Kind of surprising that they were in 3rd, in my opinion, last week, but now the way things are playing out, they're starting to fall in a position they should be in. Now, obviously, the big concern here is would Apollo be ahead of them, and I think their loss to Double Tap, who is ranked considerably lower, skewed that a bit. So, it's a really close race between these two teams. Between OC and Double Tap, it's a really tight race there. I could see, not Double Tap, excuse me, OC and Apollo. I could see Apollo taking number 5 next week, depending on how the Pro League goes and how other results go. But OC, for now, is in number 5. Number 4, failure to launch. So the team that started off their first 2 weeks in the Pro League with 0-5 results against the 2 best teams in North America have since come back swinging with a huge victory against Maka and a 4-1 win this past weekend. It's really been a big showing for failure to launch, and they are looking to be a devastatingly potent team, and the kind of team that, you know, in my opinion, I knew that any team that would make it into the Pro League was going to be effective. And this is a team that came from the open bracket, by the way. They came through the open qualifier, the regular qualifier, and got their spot in the NA division. So I knew that any team that could go through all of that and still emerge as a Pro League team deserved to be here. And one of the big concerns I had going into the Pro League was I didn't want an Air Force 2 situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, MLG Pro League Season 1, but I'm assuming might be the only season, but I don't know. But MLG Pro League Season 1, Air Force 2 got invited to the Pro League, or they made it in through, I think they had a qualifier tournament that they made it through, and didn't get a single win of any game throughout the entire season. And while that really, I don't think that was indicative of who Air Force 2 is, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, it's problematic when you have a team like that who gets the spot in the Pro League but then can't win a game. I was nervous of having that happen in the Pro League, and when failure to launch went 0-10 to start, a little bit of that worry showed up. I wouldn't say that I was completely worried, because they went up against Kings and Cosmic, so to be fair, that's, you know, gonna happen. But I didn't want to see that happen to failure, because I knew, and I could see it in those 2 series, I could see what they were capable of. Little glimmers of what they were capable of. They almost took a game off of Kings of Urban in that set. But then the server crash happened and everything kind of fell apart. So it was unfortunate for them. But regardless of that, failure to launch has come back in fighting form, looking like a great team. I believe they are 3rd now in the Pro League standings. And there's still 3 weeks to go, so you know we've got a lot of time left. And I will be bringing you shoutcasting throughout the entirety of this Sunday's event, so don't miss that. But yeah, failure to launch, despite that, a very good team in a very good place in at number 4, up 2 spots from last week. And that takes us to number 3, Untethered. I don't know who here had the opportunity to see Untethered versus Kings of Urban from last week's RLC Pro League. If you didn't, make time to watch it. It was such an amazing set of games between 2 teams that were fighting tooth and nail. Now, unfortunately for Untethered, that series went 4-1 in favor of Kings of Urban. But that is not indicative of how close and how hard fought those games were. I mean, this was an Untethered team that clawed and scratched their way to every goal and played defense as best as they could against a Kings of Urban team that we know is one of the best in North America. So it was extremely close, and Untethered, like I said, I was sad that they only won 1 game because they played like a team that should have split that series. So this is good. This is what I expected out of Untethered when they finally started coming back and getting into the swing of things again. I anticipated them to be one of those top teams in North America. Now they're in at number 3. They own that spot. They looked amazing against Kings of Urban, and now we just have to see if they can keep that up. Consistency is key when it comes to the power rankings and when it comes to success in general. So there were So many overtimes, so many 0-second goals in that series, it was unreal. So take the time, go back, go to twitch.tv/Rocket League Central, find the VOD for Week 4, and it's the last set of the day. So watch those series of games, really intense, really outstanding, and just a huge showing on the part of Untethered. So that takes us to our final 2 spots. Now here's where things get a little bit... Sorry, I keep bumping my mic. Let me adjust. There we go. This is where things get a little bit interesting. There are so many people who debate which of these 2 teams is really number 1. Is it Cosmic? Is it Kings? And I will say, we had the same kind of debate on the Power Ranking Committee. And we've had that for many weeks, where it's... I don't remember the last time it was universally voted number 1 Cosmic. There's always been that outlier that I think has put Kings at number 1, but it just hasn't been enough. But this week, things have happened, and what has happened is we have a tie for the number 1 spot between Kings of Urban and IBP Cosmic. Going into this Sunday, with their only head-to-head regular season match, we have a tie for number 1 between Kings and Cosmic. So with the 4 members on the committee, 2 of us put Kings at number 1, 2 of us put Cosmic at number 1, and it ended up with this result. I don't think you could have asked for a better result to the top of the power rankings going into a direct head-to-head match between these 2 teams on Sunday. In 2 days, these 2 teams will be playing one another, and that will basically give us the undisputed number 1 team in North America, not to mention the number 1 team in the standings, which right now is technically owned by Kings, but could be taken back by Cosmic depending on how things go. And I expect it to be an interesting result, the obvious X factor being that Gibbs is not going to be there. So they're going to be using a sub, likely A-Money, and with that in mind, the real curious question here is, will that become an asterisk on a potential Kings of Urban victory? You know, because here's the thing, it's not about individual skill when it comes to when a person's replaced. The biggest thing I look at personally is teamwork, and one of the teams that operates like a well-oiled machine in terms of a team is Cosmic. So when one of those pieces of that machine is missing and replaced, I don't know what we're going to get. So it's going to be a very interesting series. I have to give the nod to Kings of Urban just based off of how they've been playing lately. They are so clutch. They are so last second. They are just driven to not be phased and to just deliver big wins, that I think this is their moment to stand tall as the number 1 team in North America. That's my prediction, at least. I could get shocked out of the water, but we'll see what they bring. So it's going to be very interesting, but Cosmic and Kings tied for number 1 this week in the NA Power Rankings. But there you have it. There's your top 10. Or technically your top 12, because there's a 3-way tie for 10th place. So, 10 spots, 12 teams that are filling them, and 1 spot that's not even used at all, and that's number 2, because we have a tie. So it's an interesting power ranking this week. So, now's the time where I turn it over to the wonderful people in chat, and I ask of you, what do you think? Do you have any questions about the power rankings, the North American scene, the competitive scene in general, the game in general, or whatever else strikes your fancy? Now is the time. Fire away with your questions, and I will answer them right now, live, in person, on air, whatever. So... is Kings of Urban going to play the ESL final? I don't know. We'll see if they show up. Best player? That's hard. It depends on what you're looking for. You know, in this team environment, it's very hard to say, oh, this person's the best player. You know, you have to look at the general, like, all around kind of usefulness. In North America, I'm inclined to say Kronovi at this time, but I'm also very much inclined to say Jacob or Fireburner. It's starting to get really shaken up now in terms of what players are really top tier. For EU, my answer is still Marky Duda, but for NA, it's very interesting. There's a lot of change going on right now, and I think I'm going to keep a very close eye on Sunday's series and try and answer that again. Alright, predictions on this week's RLCPL matches. Good question. Oh, thank you for the host, Fireburner, right as I talk so positively about you. Let's take a look at that. The week 5. I believe that is what we're looking at here. There we go. Cool. Okay. So this is the week 5 schedule. Let's talk about predictions. So, alright, Flipside versus Supersonic Avengers. This should be an interesting series. I would give the tilt 3-2 to Flipside, just based off of what they've been doing lately, and that they have a direct head-to-head win against Flipside on their record recently. But it should be a really good game. I mean, this game is going to be so much offense. I could very well expect a lot of these games to be really high scoring, because this is where they shine. Both of these teams shine in just peppering the net with constant shots. But Flipside, I think the only series Flipside has won by more than 3 games has been their series against Crown and Jewels. So I'm giving this 3-2 to Flipside, in my opinion. Spectral versus MyXMG. This will be really good, I think. This is going to be like, if I have to pick a match to be like the sleeper match, this is going to be probably it right here. This is a series between 2 teams who are clawing for that number 4 spot. MyXMG has looked really good, but Spectral has kind of looked really good. They're both kind of off and on. I am tempted to give that, again, a very close series, tilted just slightly to MyXMG. So, again, 3-2 MyXMG is my opinion there. Oh, and thank you for the host, Yemen, by the way. I didn't want to ignore that. But, yeah, I'm going to give the tilt just slightly to MyXMG 3-2. SK versus Noble. This is a really interesting question because it depends on where SK is in terms of their rehabilitation. If it's the same SK Gaming that we've had in the past, then Noble might take them 4-1. If they're finally starting to figure out their problems, then we'll see a much more competitive series. But for now, based off of history, based off what I've seen, I'm going to give it 3-2 to Noble. So that's my pick right now, as it stands. But I could very well see Noble going 4-1 in that set. NA side. I'll save the best for last. Apollo 11 versus Orange Creamsicle. For one, it's going to depend on who Apollo plays. If they go into the set with Fireburner and have the same kind of performance they did last week, then OC is going to be in a really rough spot. Even with Flow, though, they could still really click. I'm going to give the tilt to Apollo 3-2 in that series. I think that's going to be a pretty close set. Untethered versus Mocket. This one I got to give to Untethered, and I got to give it to him convincingly 4-1. I've yet to see from Mocket the sort of performance they need to have in the Pro League. They had a few rough starts, but they've yet to really recover, and Untethered looked so good last week that it would be a shame to not give them that justified win. So they're going to come into this really hungry, really angry by not getting more than one, by not getting more than one win against Kings of Urban. And I'm going to give the nod to Untethered 4-1 in this set. Finally, Finally. Kings of Urban versus IBP Cosmic. The X factor obviously is going to be the lack of Gibbs in that set. That's going to be a big factor, I think. Not necessarily because I say that Gibbs is, the best of the best or anything like that, but there's a certain team dynamic that you lose when like I said earlier, when part of your machine is gone, you lose a certain bit of like something there. You lose something. And Kings of Urban have been looking so strong lately. So strong. I'm honestly compelled to give this to Kings 4-1. That's I think my final prediction now that we are just a couple days away. I'm going to give the tilt to Kings 4-1 because they just look so strong and have looked so clutch and so resilient. So that is my tilt. If Gibbs were there, it would probably be closer, but I'd still give the edge to Kings. But because Gibbs is not going to be there and the team dynamic is going to be shifted a bit, Kings of Urban's probably going to be able to exploit that. So the crowning game, Kings will defeat Cosmic, in my opinion, 4-1. So there we go. Oop, there we are. Much better. Okay. I hope that answered your question. Who I think giving the Pro League prediction. So I got to scroll up a bit here. Okay, so there's my predictions on this week's RLCPL matches or RPL matches. Next, was I able to catch JamesBot's weird little accidental RLC stream? No, but I don't know if the VOD's been deleted yet. But I do know it happened because I saw the tweet go out from the RLC account, and I was like, oh, JamesBot screwed up again. That's what he does. Yes, a lot of positive feedback on Fireburner, a lot of other people who are suggesting their stuff here. Cool. Alright. I think I'm caught up on questions. Ah, there's one. If Mocket, by the grace of the Almighty, happen to actually fix their team play and take the Untethered series, how hard does that make your job for power rankings this week? I don't think it makes it too hard. Because if Mocket wins the series, for one, it's going to matter how much they win the series by. But it's also going to be about consistency. If I have to talk about consistency, Untethered has still looked better over the past few weeks than Mocket has. Now, depending on how the other teams play, we could see some movement there if they beat them. It doesn't necessarily mean that Mocket would immediately go back to number 3. That's going to take a lot longer to fight back to. But I think a lot of things are going to, change depending on how every series goes. But if Mocket beats Untethered, it's a very good sign for them that they're finally got whatever they need ironed out, and they're back into being a competitive team. But I don't see it happening. Not with what we've seen so far. I just don't see it happening. Alright, any other questions? Fire away if you have them. Yeah, the situation now, of course, like I said, is going to be... I don't think Untethered's going to be subbing, but Mocket has so many things they need to work on. Realistically, do I think SK will make the playoffs? Well, let's look at the standings right now. Just so we have an idea of what the picture looks like. So here's the EU standings. SK, 5-10. They are not that far outside of the actual playoffs. They have 3 more weeks to play, weeks 5, 6, and 7. That's 15 more games in total. And to get into the playoffs, they just have to make it to 4th place, which right now is held by MyXMG with their 7-8 record. So they're not that far outside of qualifying. But the thing we have to look at, of course, is the obvious, based off of how they've been playing, can they actually get a record that will get them into that 4th place spot against teams like MyXMG or Spectral or Noble, who I think are going to be the more competitive teams fighting for that place. And in all honesty, I don't know. I don't think so. Until they really show up, I'll be able to give you a much better answer to that after this series on Sunday, because this is going to be their last chance to really get into it. If they still look bad, if they still look, you know, like they're in a bad spot, then no, I don't think they're going to be able to build that momentum or be able to overcome their opponents enough to get a better record to beat out those other teams. I just don't see that happening. So they've got a ton to work on. That is for sure. Alright. Let's see. Pick one player you think will shine in the playoffs. Good question. I think... in NA, okay. I think we're gonna see... above their usual level. I think we're gonna see a lot more out of Jacob. The series against Untethered proved that even if they shut down Fireburner, Jacob is still a dangerous threat. And I think they're going to work on that. Because if teams are going to focus their defense on shutting down Fireburner, then Jacob's going to be able to come in there and help clean up house. So I think we might see a lot more from him in these playoffs. You notice that Gfinity now says 3v3 Europe instead of just 3v3. Does that mean we're going to see an NA 3v3? I don't know. I'd hope so. More NA is great. It's always a good idea. I hope they would do that. I haven't heard anything about it, like not even a whisper, but that'd be a really good idea. Yeah, Spectral has a lot fewer games, so they might be in a difficult spot because they have their bye week coming up. But SK is not completely out of it if they can fight back. Thoughts on the reduction of Gfinity's prize pool? It's not too surprising. They had a really big prize pool for every single week for a tournament that wasn't exactly getting the most exposure. So I guess it's not too surprising. It could go back up if it starts getting a little more exposure. The Invitational did okay, but they would need like more regular positive results. If IBP do well against the full KOU squad, what might that mean for A-Money's reputation as a competitive player? It's only good. I mean, it would only go better. If he ends up carrying Cosmic or helping Cosmic to a series win or even a close series, it's going to look really good on his part. So he might start getting approached by some bigger teams or might just, you know, do good for his team. So it could be really good stuff. Well, that's the good thing is because Gfinity is also being hosted by RLC now. So anytime that RLC is going to host Gfinity, they're going to get a boost because RLC has a ton of, you know, followers and stuff, and that's where a lot of people know to go. So that could actually be a good thing. You know, if the results of us hosting their stuff results in more viewers, then that could see them increase their prize pool, depending on any number of things. So it's entirely possible. But it had a lot probably to do with the fact that it was on the RLC Twitch. What are the chances of NA Gfinity? It will depend on how well EU Gfinity continues to do before they start spreading it out. I don't have a wedding VOD. I had a wedding live stream that was on a VOD for like a month, but it's gone now. I just have a recording of it. If you missed the window, you missed the window. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what kind of strategy they employ against Kings, and I'm really excited to actually see that. Like, to see that set and see what they have to do against Kings of Urban, because it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be real tough for them. Loudmouths. I got feedback from somebody that the dogs are too loud and when I'm casting, and I can't really help that because Dudge likes to bark, and unfortunately I'm in the best possible position to do this stuff from, so I'll be trying to make some adjustments for Sunday to avoid it being a big problem. Hopefully a lot quieter than he has been. Let's see. Who will make the playoffs in the NA division? it's probably going to be... It's going to be Cosmic Kings, my guess, Failure, and Untethered. Those are my 4 teams that I think are going to actually make it into the playoffs in the Pro League. The 4 teams that are on the power rankings right now. I mean, Gambit... Look, Gambit is arguably the best player in North America in a lot of people's opinion. One of the best. So, I don't know if it's necessarily being carried or just the fact that he's so effective that, you know, he can help the dynamic of the team, but I don't know what the situation is with Gambit either. Like, he wasn't there last week, so I don't know. Yeah, they're going to have to change some stuff up. They can't use the static rotation that they're so familiar with Gibbs there, because he's not going to be there. So, I haven't had a chance to see them playing together. I don't know if it's been streamed or not, but I'm eager to see how they employ it against Kings of Urban, because they're going to be tested big time. Last Sunday was the first time you saw Prime Thunder play on Apollo. Prime Thunder has been a part of Apollo for as long as I knew of Apollo. And he was one of the players on Apollo 11 that initially caught my eye because of how effective he was. Now, his biggest issue was his decision-making and some of his other skills back in the day, but he has dramatically improved if Sunday is any indication to go by. So, I hope he does continue to play. I think he's a great third for that team, and his improvement is really outstanding. How many teams will join the playoffs? There will be 4 teams from each division in the playoffs. So 4 from NA, 4 from EU. Don't know why Gambit wasn't present at all. No, of course. I mean, I always stood out when I first saw Apollo playing and they were looking really good. It was always Prime Thunder that really jumped out to me as somebody who was just getting some huge plays. And he's made big improvements to his game, and Sunday was amazing. Like, they came out swinging. They looked ridiculous. I'm sad they're not part of SNK anymore. I mean, I get why, but, you know, I so wanted to work with them, but I'm glad to see them successful. That's the most important thing. Alright. I saw on a Rocket League subreddit that there might be interest in showing Rocket League on ESPN. Do you think it would help to give a big boost to the competitive scene? Yeah. What do you think the chance of this actually happening is? It could be pretty good. I don't know. The scene is like, we're there. We're right there as far as really starting to see big things happen. And I hope we do get in on ESPN and start getting some of that extra publicity. That would be a pretty big deal, to say the least. Oh, look. Mike Rules is here. What's my prediction of Apollo 11 versus OC on Sunday? Depends. Depends on the roster primarily that Apollo fields, but I certainly think the tilt is in favor of Apollo at the very least. So 3-2 most likely is my guess in favor of Apollo right now. Hiya, Fireburner. Thank you for the host again, my friend. Cool. It's gonna smash. No, I'm a coach for SNK. I didn't really have the opportunity to work with Apollo. Because I knew they were going to be departing or parting ways with SNK before I even joined. I tried to at least start up a dialogue and chat with them a bit, but I guess they were already kind of on the way out. There was a lot of other things going on that I'm not aware of. And I never had the chance to really work with them, unfortunately. So I'm looking still for a new team for SNK. Got a lot of work to do. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Gfinity was really exciting. There was some interesting stuff that happened in that tournament, for sure. Alright, see you, Jokers. Thanks for dropping by. Okay. So, since it's you, Ozzy, and Husky in there, I feel good about my pick that you're going to get the advantage there. Even if Gambit's there, I still think that the teamwork that I saw out of Apollo on Sunday was really solid. And if Gambit's there, it's going to make things pretty tough. But I feel pretty good about my pick. Well, you know. Thoughts on ESL teams who might get into Pro League at some point? Assuming we do a second season of Pro League, then yeah, I mean, they can very easily... There's a lot of teams here, like Turbulence in particular, I think would make it in. In fact, all the teams that are on that 8 through 10 list, I think stand a really good chance of potentially qualifying for a second season of Pro League. All of them are very competitive. And then, who knows? Like, who predicted Failure to Launch to shoot their way out of the open bracket into there? So, it's exciting stuff. It very, very much is. Alright. You're predicting a hot 5-0. I mean, if you do it, that'd be pretty ridiculous. Not unexpected, but still fairly ridiculous. It'd be fun stuff. I'm down to see it. Less talk, more action. That's all I can say. Untethered's been looking really good. Like, that series against Kings on Sunday was ridiculous. And I can't wait to see what we see out of them against Mocket on Sunday. What's going on? We're talking competitive Rocket League. You know, the usual thing. We just went over the power rankings for NA. Now we're talking about everything else. So... Alright, still open for any questions, by the way. If anybody has anything they want to ask, now is a really good time to do it. I can say this much, without really giving much away, Badger. ESPN Esports is new, so they want to cover a lot of things. But they're ESPN, so they obviously have a great big built-in following. I know that the little campaign we did, #RL on ESPN, did in fact get their attention. So I can say this with certainty. All I will say is, in one way or another, just keep your eyes on ESPN Esports if you're a fan of Rocket League. That's as much as I can really say right now. But just keep your eyes peeled. I'd like to ask if I want to play with you. I'm not doing any playing today. Just the talking head stuff that I usually do here. A very busy overlay. I look at it and there's a lot of stuff going on. That's a lot of information. I got the top 10, I got the scrolling thing, got the chat box, donations, subs, and followers, and then of course all the sponsors and brands and my face there. That's important. It's important that my face is there. It is my my show after all. That damn thing. All right, whatever. So yeah, keep it going if you have any questions. You know the routine. If anything you want to know about or ask about, now is the time. What do I think about the Rocket Labs update? I think the Rocket Labs I think the Rocket Labs update is fantastic. I love the idea of brand new, vastly different maps. I'm excited to try them out. I'm excited to see them in competitive play at some point or another. And I can't wait to see... Like, I'm wondering to see if they use this to see what maps are most popular, and then maybe take that map and apply the art to it, and like some art assets to it, and then really reel it out into competitive play or something like that. Did Cinema sponsor me? Well, CSGO Unboxed did. So, yes. Will we ever see a caster versus caster game, and will JamesBot ever make up his mind, or will JamesBot make up his mind on whether he wants to be a player or caster? I mean, I would do a caster versus caster game, but I'm not good at all. And a lot of casters are good, like James and Shogun and stuff. Now, as for making up his mind, he wants to be versatile. So I think he will continue to do both to the best of his ability. On the topic of ESPN, I have to say that your appeal video was top-notch. Well, thank you. I wanted to make it as interesting as I could, just brief and to the point, and to try to get their attention, and it did actually work. Yeah, there was a different commentary style during the last Pro League. It's something we still need to work on. Mainly, I need to work with James on finding out how he gives me openings, or his cues. It's something that I've worked on with the people I cast with, so that they know what my cues sound like. So, it'll be interesting. JamesBot versus Shogun would be fun. I do suck at Rocket League. I will stand by that 100%. I do not have any actual game skill. It's all in observation and, you know, post-game analysis stuff. I can break the scene down really nicely, but I can't play well. I do. I have a great goal per game average. My goals per game is great. I mean, I am outstanding. No one can touch me. I believe I have 100% shot percentage. It's pretty solid. Yeah, the problem was that James was... like I said, I had a hard time figuring out his cues. I give very obvious cues when I'm casting. Like... I'll tell you about this, because this is what I went over. Like, when I was initially working with Shogun, one of the issues we had is that he wasn't picking up my cues either. He had a hard time figuring out when I was giving him his openings to talk. And after the fact, I pulled him aside and I talked to him. I was like, this is what I'm going to sound like when I'm giving you a cue. Like, I deliberately adjust how I speak. Like, I end a sentence with my voice to give that opening. So when I'm regularly casting, I might say something like, and ball passed up the wall by Mike Cooks here with a good play off to the net, but it is going to be deflected off to the corner, and it looks like it's going to be cleared back down to the flip side end. So did you hear that? How at the very end of that sentence, it slides out, and there's a clear period to the end of that sentence? That's how I give my openings. That's my cue. And I told Shogun that, and every time we work now, he picks up on that. And we have a great back and forth. I love working with Shogun. Shogun is so awesome to cast with. He's got to be one of my favorite people to cast with, because I can do my normal play-by-play thing, which I like to do. He does his analysis. He's funny. He's a great personality. I think I got to work with him much more often. Yeah, I think James was giving cues, but when he realized I wasn't picking up on them, he had to be more direct about it. So I literally just have to pull him aside and talk to him and be like, hey, you know, I actually talked to him, and the next time we cast, I think we're going to try me doing play-by-play and him doing color. So we might adjust it a little bit so that I kind of lead the pace of the broadcast. It should be interesting. But... the prize pool will be awarded to the teams who place in the playoffs. I don't yet know how far, like if it's top 4 or all 8 teams, to what degree, but it'll be awarded in the playoffs, and then to each team split 3 ways through their players. Well, the Pash's style is heavy play-by-play. He has a very specific style of commentary, and that's fine. I don't mind working with the Pash. I know what to expect out of him. He focuses solely on play-by-play style, and he has a very quick voice. He can cover a lot of action quickly, which is contrary to me. I don't talk very fast when I do commentary. I deliberately try to pace it out, but he's better at basically being able to talk quickly. And he gives the openings when the major plays happen, when big goals happen. That's when the color guy gets the opening to come in and provide feedback. So, going mental on goals is good when the goal is worth going mental about. Unfortunately, there's so much variety in that now. I didn't get a chance to watch Gfinity today. I was very busy today. I spent like almost 2 hours digging out my driveway from the snow that had fallen. I like the Pash. He's just got a different sort of style from a lot of the other people I work with. So I know what to expect. Like this weekend, I'm gonna be the primary broadcaster, kind of running the show, but I'll be joined by the Pash and Shogun. So when the Pash is casting, I'll go into color mode. When Shogun's casting, I'll go into play-by-play mode. But I'm very excited to work with Shogun because he's a lot of fun to work with. I think he and I make a good team. I like working with him. Yeah, so Dungeons and Dragons stream is tonight, of course, on Seismic's channel. So twitch.tv/seismicwhite. Yeah, it is just like the chat says. It is me. It is Low5, Cloudfuel, JamesBot, and Seismic will basically. God only knows what we're going to run into this Friday. I think we're all just passed out after fighting a giant, which Low5, by the way, or I should say his character. Low, really, he dug deep for that one. His character just laid waste to this giant. It was really fun. But yeah, we fought a lot. It was a difficult time. How much do you think playstyle varies between each team? Depends on the team. It seems to be very similar in NA. Between the NA teams, just like it's very similar between the EU teams, and when you bring them together, when you have EU versus NA, it gets a lot more interesting in terms of how they approach each game, and if they have to change stuff up, so. Get a room. Mocket is formerly never on target. They have been sponsored by Mocket. Is there an NA ESL Aerial Cup? No, there is not. I tried. I actually tried working with ESL to say we need to do a 1v1 tournament. Do you have the crew to help make this happen? And unfortunately, they don't. And it's something we want to do with RLC. Provide these tournaments for NA that don't exist. 1v1 in particular. I'm a big fan of 1v1. I think a lot of people really like 2v2 and they're kind of more inclined to that stuff, but I really like 1v1. I think it's so cool to watch a lot of the time. When you get two really good teams, really good players, it's really fun. So. But, yeah, unfortunately ESL will not be able to do that. We shall see. I think so too, personally. That's why I ranked Kings of Urban #1 this week. Unfortunately, I was only one of two people. The other two people ranked Cosmic #1, and that's why we have a tie. So, I don't know. We'll see a lot of it this weekend. We'll really see a lot of that emerge this weekend. Has anyone ever done a 2v2 tournament? Yeah, Mocket does a 2v2, I think. There's several 2v2s out there. I think that's also something we want to do with RLC. How much do you think the skill ceiling for Rocket League affects how big it gets in the esports scene? The thing that really helps the esports scene is how much you can get attached to the players or teams, and how fun it is to actually watch. And I think Rocket League really excels in that latter portion. The former, it's just going to take time, but the latter portion, it is so fun to watch. It's so hype. It's exciting. It's quick. It's fun for the whole family. There's no blood. There's no killing. It's just basically soccer with rocket cars, and it's really cool when you get the big players in there that are doing unbelievable stuff. So, yeah, ESL does 2v2 as well for EU. I was thinking NA, so... Oh yeah, the new maps are going to make teams have to approach things really differently. Turbulence did find their third. I think they're playing with Air now. I think Air is their new third. Yeah, we need more NA tournaments. We definitely do. That's been something I really want to see, but hasn't happened yet. So, yeah. I think I'm all cut up, so I'm going to need more questions. If and ya has them, fire them away to thee. If you're in North America, I don't believe you can sign up for the ESL EU stuff. You have to live in Europe to sign up for it. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. That's another big reason that I think Rocket League will do so well. It's very easy to understand. You don't need to know the rules of the game or anything advanced. You can literally turn it on, watch for like a minute, and be like, oh, I get it. It's rocket cars playing soccer. You know? That's it. That's all you need to know. Will Freezing Wolves be casting anymore? I assume so. Don't know exactly what or where or when, but I assume he will. It'll be interesting when those maps get included. Yeah, they won't be in the Pro League. That would be way too much deep in the season. But they could be in other stuff. Thoughts on KOU versus IBP? Really already went into that. I think that Kings are probably going to take the series. They'll probably have a really good advantage because Gibbs won't be there. But they're also looking like the best team in North America right now. Alright, let's see. I would rather give the new maps time before they're introduced to competitive play so that the players can actually get some practice on them and learn what they need to learn about the physics of the maps and everything. And to make sure there's no really game-breaking glitches in them either. You haven't figured out what the ball is for? That's okay, you'll learn it someday. Yeah, Freezing Wolves isn't doing Gfinity anymore, but I don't think he's completely done with casting, necessarily. I just know he's not doing Gfinity. Do I think Cosmic and 5.0 OC are untethered? OC? Probably. Untethered? Probably not. Why was Mike playing with Perpetual? Because he wasn't playing with Flipside. I think Perpetual's like his Gfinity team when Cooks isn't around. How did I get the name Shalthus? I invented it in my human brain. With Gambit, that's why I said maybe. The maybe kind of being that Gambit factor. If Gambit's there, maybe not. If he is there, yeah, if Gambit is there, maybe not. If he's not there, it's a little more likely that they could. So obviously that Gambit factor kind of tilts it a bit. That is not confirmed. I said I clearly have a human brain. Any other brains I may possess are irrelevant to this conversation. I said I thought about it in my human brain. I didn't say non-human brain. Focus, people. I said I thought it up in my human brain. And I did. That's really it. I actually thought about it. I originally created the name Shalthus for a World of Warcraft elf rogue character. And I just needed a name that sounded elvish, and I didn't like what the random generator was giving me, so I just thought of two sounds and wrote it down, and it turned into Shalthus. And I've kept that forever. Did I see the Kronovi nose-picking VOD? No, and I don't really need to. I was just clarifying that my brain is human. I clearly have a human brain. What teams do you think will be out of the Pro League, and what teams will be in next season? Well, one, I don't know if there will be a next season, and for two, I don't know what the requirement will be. Basically, I can't say that because I don't know what. Like, I don't know if the top 4 will automatically qualify, or just the top 2, or what. So, a lot of that depends on if there is a second season. Hey, I am very clearly a human. No tentacles here. Or robot pieces that you can see. So, I am very much a human person. And I will not tolerate any attempts to the contrary, to slander my good name. Anyway. Do I think Cosmic or Kings will have the #1 seed at the end? I think Kings will. If they play the way they've been playing, it will be Kings. And I have no reason to think otherwise. At least yet. But we'll see what happens Sunday, won't we? Whoa, whoa. Do not slander my name. I am no robot. Do a Kit impression? Shit, I need to remember a line from the show. I can do a good impression of, like, Dave from 2001, or not Dave, the, fucking Hal from 2001. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. But Kit, I don't know. Use my boost, Michael. I think that's close enough. I don't know. Speaking of Kit, we need to get Kit in Rocket League. Somebody get Psyonix on the horn. Let's get Kit in Rocket League. I want to drive Kit around in Rocket League. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Stupid chair. But yeah, anyway. The red car from Mask. I mean, at least Knight Rider is a little more well-known of a reference than Mask. I don't know, right now we need the Batmobile, Kit, the red car from Mask, and we need more. We need other cars in Rocket League. I think that's important. More fancy cars like the, you know, thing. Ion Trails that destroy cars, so you want a Tron game. You want a Tron Trails, that's not Ion. Herbie, yeah, there you go. Herbie the Love Bug, the General Lee, those are good. The Ghostbusters car, yeah. A-Team Merc, I like it. Herbie's good. I like the idea of Herbie the Love Bug, that's perfect. What if in Rocket... I mean, maybe. They could make maps that work for different types of cars. Like, Walpity just mentioned Tron trails. Why not have little motorcycles? They're a lot smaller, and they, you know, you have to work around a trail that progressively vanishes behind you. Yeah, there's a lot of cars that we need to get in this game. That's all there is to it. And as far as the General Lee goes, anytime you go aerial, it plays the horn sound. Not too loud, though, because that would be really annoying after a while. Ghost Busers. Every role is played by Gary Busey. Oh, the big dog van? Yeah. That could work. These are good ideas. These are the kind of cars we definitely should see in this game. I could see Cookseer in the General Lee. Always in the air, up on the walls. Yeah, it would need the horn. It would need to be like you hit once you're doing like a boost, just like the wheels fold under the DeLorean. You just trigger it so that it plays the horn instead. Let's see. Do you think that Flipside's confidence in their abilities and near-guaranteed position in the playoffs has led them to play more casually throughout the season, apart from their critical matchup against Crown and Jewels? From watching it, looks like they have fun and don't care about having a perfect record so long as they're still in the position to win. I don't think Flipside really focuses too much on having perfect records or anything like that. I think they are about winning, at least at the very end, you know? Like, if you look at Gfinity, not this past Gfinity, but the Invitational, you know, they got knocked down to the lower bracket, then they went 4-0, 4-1, 4-0, 4-3, 4-0, 5-0. So, you know, they just sort of carved their way through the lower bracket, barely losing a game, having a pretty competitive set against Spectral, but they still won the tournament. You know, when they want to win, when they really want to win, they win. You know, sometimes teams can challenge them, and sometimes they can even be beaten when they want to win. But they really are consistent with getting what they want. And I think if they're in the tournament, they're happy. You know, getting to the finals is the main end goal here. And that's what I think is really going to be the big factor here. Let's see. If IVP and Flipside were to play against each other today, who do you think would win? What about Kings versus Flipside? I think Flipside would beat Cosmic, and I don't know about Kings. That would be a way closer matchup, I think. Depends on what Flipside does. They can win. When they're clicking, they are practically unstoppable. But yes, there was a Cars too. You don't need tickets, you can just like buy it. It's like years old now. Alright, anyway. Yeah, Formula 1 style car would be really good. I'm not gonna stop streaming. You can watch the VOD soon. I'm almost done. It's coming down to the end anyway. Why are you so bad? I don't know. No one knows. Yeah, there are some great cars that we should have in this game. Plus, I'm pretty sure you can start watching the VOD first, but I'm not gonna stop for that. Do viewer games and shoutcast it. I have done that before, and I intend to do it again at some point. I haven't done any streams outside of these shows for a little while, so I'll try and do that at some point. The biggest issue has been that when it's that late, I'm usually working, so there's not much I can stream. What would be my dream team? Frankly, the dream team already exists. You know, every time somebody asks me that, I tell you, it exists right now. It is out there. And they're called Flipside Tactics. They do about as good as any dream team I could come up with could. So, I cannot help it. Yeah, I would need to be able to... Like, basically, I haven't streamed a lot lately outside of these shows because, like I said, I'm usually working, and I have to work so that I can get money so that I can continue to stream and not have to get a job. Or at least a full-time job. I can continue to try and do freelancing, which is what I've been doing lately. My NA Dream Team. Interesting. I would say... Because it's not just about picking the 3 top players, it's about picking a team that works together well. I would say Kings. That's the kind of team that I would want. I'd want a team that's very effective with really solid striking and the ability to back up a strike that, you know, maybe goes a little awry and they still have good, reliable positioning play. Yes, I see it. Everybody wants the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo. I've seen that like 10 times now. I agree. Mystery Machine. Should do it. I think just a skin would be good, but maybe having a full version of it with some Scooby sounds mixed in there. Zeppelins? That would... It's thinking outside the box, but it would slow way down. Nah, it's fine by me. Bumblebee from Transformers. That's like a... All the Transformers are just cars. So, I mean, we can't really turn them into robots and then start running around. We need a Shalthus flag in game. I've told Durkin that we need that to happen, and they haven't gotten back to me. They haven't reached out to me and been like, "Hey, you should, you know, can we help you? Like, can we use your face for a flag?" No, they haven't. So, I don't know. Submarines. I think it's Zeppelins and submarines like the 2 slowest moving vehicles in a game about rocket-powered battle cars. I think a semi-truck would be interesting, just really big. I don't know if you could do that. It would either be really big or it would look awkwardly small. There you go. Tweet at Rocket League. Say you want a Shalthus, a Sploon Shalthus flag. A dynamic map where the ground opens up? I would see some interesting, more dynamic maps. I think that would be good. Something where the map actually changes throughout the game. Even if the map doesn't necessarily like open up, just say like the goal will start on ground level and then move up every minute or so, or every 30 seconds. Hashtag Shalthus flag. I like it. Get that trending worldwide. Pokemon Stadium map? What is this? Smash Brothers? Oh, spherical map. Very interesting. Isn't one of the Rocket Labs maps have raised goals? I thought it did. I could be wrong. I haven't watched that video again in a while. Do you think they'll ever add team colors? I would hope so. I think they should add teams to the game and then allow you to customize colors and paint jobs and even add decals of your team logo on there. Do I think RLC Pro League will ever host a LAN event? Pro League? Probably not. RLC? Maybe. We shall see. Well, if you do a spherical map, then you just put the goals on opposite ends of the sphere. Portal mode, yes. They've added all those portal items to the game. Incorporate portals into the map. Oh, that'd be ridiculous. Spherical map with zero gravity. That would be like playing in a snow globe almost. With moon gravity or something. I would love for there to be a LAN tournament for the finals, but I don't think that's going to happen. There will be LANs, like pro-level LANs, someday. I'm almost certain of it. How long LoL had been out before it started getting big in esports? It had some time behind it, yeah. We're growing pretty quickly for Rocket League, and it's very exciting. Moving walls? Moving walls would be cool. Well, it's Season 6 now, but League of Legends has been big before now. Like, they started getting big a few years ago. No, oh, you know what you should do? Get a portal-themed map. You have a goal, there's an orange portal around the goal, and a blue portal around the opposite goal. If you don't hit the target, it goes on the other end of the field. So you have to be really on target, because if you put it through the portal, you're going all the way downfield for it. That could be interesting. League isn't new, it's a concept called MOBAs. It helped kick off the whole MOBA genre, and yeah, it's based off of, you know, War of the Ancients, or Dota, Defense of the Ancients, something like that. Yeah, it was based off of Dota, the Dota add-on for Warcraft, but the point being is that it kind of kicked off everything. Do I think Rocket League will ever need another game to come out, or will it work to just build around Rocket League? It'll work around Rocket League for a long time to come. I don't think they're going to need a sequel anytime soon. They can build and expand and adjust and improve the game in and of itself. Standard tiny map where the roof is crossbar height. For that map, no problem. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. Yeah, you could have randomly generated portals too. Yeah, you could have doors in front of the goals too. They're very interesting ideas, that's for sure. You can fly in bronze, just not accurately. Plus, bronze doesn't exist anymore with Season 2, so... Prospect. Alright. Just a small hole in the corner where you can score a goal. It's interesting. Just like multiple goals that you have to protect. A giant mini golf course? Yeah, that would be a little... That would be crazy. D-Pants, I like your idea. It sounds good. Let's roll with that. Somebody mod that. Yeah, we're in a good spot to have the same kind of growth, at least the early growth, as LoL. I don't know if we'll peak quite where League of Legends has peaked, but I think we'll be okay. Did he quote my gates wide open line? That's fine. Put a little trademark on that. Heck, if I'm not protecting my IP now with my freaking emote, then it'll never happen. That's a hell of a link he got there. Oh, did he? That's fine. I mean, it's clearly a link to YouTube, but you got it out of the search for Google, so it has all of the referral stuff attached to it. Go to the link, then copy the URL from the address bar. Works out a lot easier that way. Well, it's a video, actually, because it's on YouTube. I'm just as bad as the Fine Brothers. I'm gonna trademark the idea of saying gates wide open. Hell, if I haven't done it yet, like, I got Mike Rules over here getting subscribers because he's got my face as an emote. If I haven't started there, I'm not gonna start yet. If it gets too bad, then yeah. I mean, I have taken a little bit of action before. I had some YouTuber who was re-uploading my my streams and stuff, and it's like, dude, come on. You didn't even ask me, and that's not cool. Especially since I was doing it on my own channel. So... That's a picture. You're gonna come into my channel and tell me you're not even subbed to the channel that has my face, nor me. Well, you're subbed to RLC, so I guess it's okay. I guess. For now. For the sub-tourney, huh? That's what they all say. It's always for the sub-tourneys. Yeah, you can sub to Mike to get my face, or you can sub to me to get Mike's face. It's a pretty fair trade-off. I mean, it's part of the gig, you know. I mean, I'm gonna be doing it all day Sunday. Not as bad as the almost 9 hours, or like 8.5 hours I logged for Gfinity. That was pretty bad. I like the bread emote because you can make it look like Diney or the pigeon head is eating the bread. It's good stuff. Top notch. A+. 10 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't get to see you cast today, so glad you got a chance. Hope you enjoyed it. Are there ever going to be Two's Cups to watch on the RLC channel? Ever? Maybe. Oh! Beautiful. Thank you for the sub. Badger, my friend. Welcome to the Shal Pals. And you triggered that awesome song that I do not hear enough. It is a fact. I do not hear that enough. But thank you oh so much for being a part of the team. Yeah, they asked me about it, but I was not even around when I was being asked. The car likes bread too. Yeah, it does. Cars love bread. That's a fact. That is a science fact, by the way. You can put that. You can take that clip, put it up on YouTube with an overlay that says "science fact." Cars like bread. It's a fact. All right. There you go. This is a hot makeout sesh. I like it. Yeah, it's hard. I normally, like, I knew I was going to be working for doing the casting on Sunday, and that kind of makes me so I don't have much else I can do in terms of, like, other events and whatnot. So, because I can't really tie up my whole weekend, and I no longer do Mock It. I stepped down from doing that because I just need I need one weekend day to be able to do everything, and I'm dedicating my time to RLC above all else, so. It's my emote. A lot of people want to see me shoutcast with Mike. That's been something we've been trying to do, and we need to just do it and get that happening. If Mike and I shoutcast something, it's gonna be special. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be special. If I shoutcasted with Mike and Marky, well, for one, we can't do it because there's only 2 spots in the game, but I can't even imagine. Hell, just trying to do that stream where they carried me into 3s. Not my decision, and those co-caster spots have already been decided upon. I don't think it's a lack of seats. I mean... Oh, new sub, Pulsar! Thank you very much for the subscription. Much appreciated. Welcome to the Shal Pals. So hype. This is going well. It's a good day. I like that song. We don't hear it enough around these parts. Who's casting NA this Sunday? I don't know where the split is going to be, but myself, I will be casting with both Shogun and the Pash on Sunday. I don't know who will be doing which games, though. So, one of them will be doing the first 3, the other will be doing the second 3, the other 3. I'll be doing all 6. So. If they can get together at the same... at the same computer, then yeah, we'll make that happen. I would like to cast with Shogun for Kings and Cosmic. But I don't know what their schedule is going to be like. So, we will find out. We shall see. Someone keep the train going. Yes, we have a 2-car sub train going right now. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Sub, donate, whatever you want to do. You can even go to csgobox.com and buy the Shalthus box, or use the coupon code Shalthus and save some money. It's good times, I'm telling you. Kings and Cosmic will be fun, for sure. Yeah, Flipside and Supersonic Avengers. I know that a lot of the attention is on Kings and Cosmic, and I guess justifiably so. But yeah, that match is going to be very exciting. I wish I was a sellout. I haven't been given enough money to appropriately be a sellout yet. I am open to the idea of selling out, so if somebody wants to do any sellouts. It's it's not a good emote. That was one of the very first emotes I ever had on this channel, and it was because I needed something but I couldn't think of what to do. So it's a phone and the Rocket League ball with the word long. So it's when I say a long shot or something like that. It's not very good. Yeah, let's keep it going. New sub. Post McDough. Welcome to the Shal Pals. Thank you for your subscription, my friend. Good to have you on board. Good Shal Pals, everybody donating, or not donating, but subscribing, joining the group, the team. And yes, that is Mike. It's not incapable. It's just going to take a little bit of convincing. But it's certainly not incapable if you are, you know, willing to work with me. I am capable of a lot of things, and selling out is right on that list. It is really him. I got that picture from Mike. So, I told Mike, I told him, you know, you got mine, so you need to send me a face so I can make a Mike emote. And he did, and I turned it into that. Got his okay, and the rest is history. There it is. Is that a young Shalthus? The Sploon face is not a young me. It's like a few months younger me. That's about as young as it gets. Well, thank you very much for the subs. Very nice. But, yeah, it was, before I really let this start to grow out. It's getting a little out of control, so I've got to tend to it. Same thing with the hair. And the hair is getting out of control, too. I got this one thing here that will not stay down. There we go. Nope, didn't work. Nope. Get in there. Stay. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, just go to twitter.com/MikeRules. You'll see it. It's verified. Don't need no face cam. Alright. Well, it seems like things have started to quiet down in the wonderful world, but still opening for questions, by the way, if you do have anything you want to ask or discuss or talk about. Any questions at all. Competitive, the game, otherwise, doesn't matter. There's not a bot. No, I don't have him in here. It is. It is helping to top the coverage for my human brain. I think everybody does want Mike's face. Or the eggs, don't forget the eggs. And the flags. The Brazil, yep, there's the Brazil emote. What do I do for fun that you don't already know about? Good question. I don't know what I do for fun that you don't know about. I know I do a lot of design and writing. Some of it I do professionally, some of it I do personally. That's a really good question. I don't do much outside of the stuff that I do. I should do more. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. I've been to WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania 30. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I still try to keep up to date with it all. Is that the only emote that's holding me back? Okay. Maybe I'll try to replace it with something. I'll see if I can replace it. I don't know. It's just kind of filler right now. I'd be a top karaoke singer for sure. That might be true. I don't know. James Bot, is that you? Did you create a different account just to subscribe and then ask me about that? I don't know, I'm not the only one who did it. Gibbs did it too. Neil Diamond or Journey, that's the extent of what my options are. Who are we rooting for in the Super Bowl? You say that like I'm your leader. It's like who must we root for in the Super Bowl? I don't know. I'm from New England, so the Patriots aren't in it, and I don't really care too much. I mean, I'm kind of inclined to say, you know, go Denver because Peyton Manning, and I think he's a great quarterback. But I don't really watch football anymore, so I don't know who's most likely or who I should root for or what I care. Gibbs did rank Cosmic #1. And he also ranked the same way for Weebs and Double Tap, so I'm just saying. It's the Panthers and the Broncos, I think, are in the Super Bowl, right? I root for the Patriots, and they didn't make it this year. So... So, frankly, I don't really care too much about it. Maybe I'll be watching the Puppy Bowl. That's a much more useful way to use my time. Though I think the Puppy Bowl takes place before the Super Bowl starts, so... Oh well. I cut myself earlier when I was cooking. I think it's okay. Just leave the Band-Aid on for a little while longer. But... yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big football fan. Very nice, Badger. Very nice. No, I mean, okay. Like, I get the complaint. It's justified, I think. I ended up putting in my rankings a little earlier in the week before, because I thought everything was going to be done for it. And just, I don't know, I tried to look at the bigger picture and I thought things looked okay. I didn't realize that they had beaten Weebs repeatedly. I didn't even think about it, and that was kind of a mistake on my part. But I'm not the only one who made that mistake, so. Just think next week will probably be different. Just gotta be consistent. See if they made it to 10th, and that's probably as high as I would have put them anyway. So, regardless of whether I ranked them high or low, they're in 10th place, and that's where they should have been. Hockey or Rocket League? Oh, it's for somebody else. Rocket League is best. Rocket League is the best answer to any sports question. Rocky Hockey. You get a little bit of both when I do the Rocket League Winter Classic. Telling you, once that happens, then you're gonna get your hockey and your Rocket League. I just gotta convince the all these teams to participate. Hockey except with rocket cars. So, you know, snow day. Like I said, I'm still going to go forward with the Winter Classic. I just got to get the teams involved that I want to get involved. It won't be in the summer. It's going to be like... I'm going to try to do it in March, I think. So it'll still technically be winter, I'm pretty sure. So... I'm based out of North America, so that's what I base my planning from. So... But, yeah, I will be doing that event. I just hope I can get some teams signed up in it. It's close enough. Here, let's see. When does it officially start? All right. As long as I do it before March 20th, I am officially still in winter. So I just have to do it before March 20th. I wanted to do it sooner, but they didn't have the damn mode in private matches. My goal was to do it in like February or January, but they didn't do it properly, so I got kind of stuck, and now I have to do it later. So March is the target. Once the patch drops and I can confirm it can be set up in private matches and everything. No, I'm NA. I'm in the Northeast. Rhode Island, specifically. You probably thought I was EU because that's how I got my start, was casting EU stuff. And I just cast tons of EU stuff for months because my job had a shitty schedule. So... What do I think about Psyonix potentially putting the new maps in ranked playlists? They shouldn't do it yet. They should take some time to make sure that the maps are fully functional, fully tested, no weird glitches, and that players can... the biggest thing is that players of all skill levels are capable of playing on the maps. But if they work well, go for it. You know? I would like to see that. Unexpected shoutcasting. Excuse me. Yeah, I've got, I have Dungeons and Dragons later tonight. So, by the way, if you just joined in and you want to, if you're going to be up late tonight, go to twitch.tv/seismic, wow, twitch.tv/seismicwhite at, starting at about 11 o'clock Eastern, so in just over an hour. And I will be doing Dungeons and Dragons, the Dungeon League, which will be hosted by Seismic White, be myself, Cloudfuel, James Bott, and Low5, all participating in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that we're a few days into now. So, it'll be good times. D&D will be fun. I always enjoy it. Mike's in Europe, and I don't know, the hours for it aren't exactly Europe friendly. It starts at 11 Eastern, so it starts in about an hour 15, and it goes until like 3 or 4 in the morning sometimes. So it goes like from super late for EU. It's not entirely impossible. I'm sure he could do it, but yeah, it's unlikely. So I'm hoping I'm ready to go. I've got to figure some stuff out before D&D tonight. I forgot. I have to make some changes to my character list. Yeah, I know he's usually up. I mean, I guess it's his preference if you actually want to be a part of it. It's a little late now. We're already kind of well underway, but I'm sure it'll happen again, depending on how this campaign goes. It will be very interesting, to say the least. Xbox RPL. Probably not. I don't anticipate there being a really large competitive scene on the Xbox side. I'm trying not to die. I'm trying to be a benefit to my party without dying. That's my hope. You plan a nice suicide after losing to Crown and Jewels. Well, it was a good run. Now, if anybody does me in, it's probably going to be Odin or James Bot or myself. I'm a little too bold sometimes and just start going ham on fools. But it was good. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he could do it. But he wanted to win 4 Scrub Killa? Like it's a Make-A-Wish or something? We've only been to like one town, too. He's just, you know, eager to visit taverns. D&D, is you guys playing together or remotely? We're playing remotely. And, yeah, we're using Roll20. Seismic has the whole campaign set up on Roll20. We all log into that. And you should watch it. It's all remote, so we're all in our individual states and homes. And he's got webcams and everything going, and it's good. It's a great website. It helps us do a lot. We still need to make sure we understand our characters and everything like that. Perpetual darkness, perpetual blackout, whatever. It's all the same. That's okay. It can be a shitty metal band name as long as you write it in a font that nobody can read. I think that's the important part. If you can do that, you're golden. Doesn't matter what your name is. Nobody will know it anyway. Yeah, this is our fourth? This is our 4th session of this campaign. And we just got out of killing a really nasty bad guy, barely surviving. And finally, we also killed a giant, thanks to Lo5, who devastatingly got a nat 20 and just went to town. And we just got out of this town that's been besieged, and we've collapsed outside of the town, so we'll see what happens when we wake up. What is my biggest hope for changes to Rocket League in terms of casting, spectating, etc.? Yeah, more spectator slots, super important. The ability to see boost in spectator mode, very important. Yeah, is there a roster list for the teams listed in the power rankings? Yeah, anytime the power ranking posts go up, it'll tell you who the rosters are. I don't have them on here because I only have so much space. But, I might have... I don't know. Rosters are changing so quickly that it's hard to keep up with, so I just mentioned the teams. That's the easiest way to do it. But yeah, when the posts go up on Reddit or on rocket-league.com, all the team info is up there. More stats. Yes, more stats are important. The game needs to track much more that can't really be done visually because it's so difficult. So, more stats is important. Yeah, I knew you and D-Pants would be all about stat things. But I am too, because I love stats. I'm not good with them, but when they're done and they're ready to be, like, talked about, I love that. That's why I did the, you know, those graphic overlays with the graphics for the Monday show that I do. It's exciting. Also, those crazy 3D mock-ups you were showing us, those are insane. Like, that reaches the point where it's so much information, it's like, oh my god. What do you do with that? But yeah, I would like to see a lot more in the way of internal game stat tracking for a lot more advanced stuff that is hard to do visually, or anything like that. Yeah, those things were unreal. I'd love to see a way to like incorporate that into something that's a little easier to digest for viewers, because that would be like next level post game stuff. Like you could break stuff down to in a way that, you know, even professional sports would be jealous of. But yeah, I don't know. That was something that was just being shared from, I don't even remember who was responsible for it. You'll have to type it in the chat. I don't remember. But yeah, that's really cool. That's all there is to it. It's just really cool stuff. So oh yeah, probably don't want to do it there. If there's another place it can be hosted, yeah, if it can be hosted anywhere else, let me know. I just retweeted. Somebody was doing the Shaltis flag thing. Morbo did the Shaltis flag, so showing my respect and retweeting it. We're just about done here anyway. I mean, I need a little bit of time before D&D to make sure some stuff is sorted on my character. But yeah, it's all like preliminary, early alpha type concept stuff, but it's a really cool idea, and I'd love to see it fleshed out a bit more, if it can be done. But, yeah, well, you know what? It appears the subtrain has reached its stop, and we have talked ad nauseum about everything. So, I'm going to wrap up, head out here. Thank you all for being a part of today's festivities. And I will be back on Sunday, RLC Pro League. I'll be casting the whole thing. I don't have Animate Rope yet, but the thing is I could add it now that I'm thinking about things. We'll look at my spell list later because I have to go about it a different way. But anyway, I'm going to take off now. Thank you all. Don't forget to tune in to twitch.tv/seismicwhite at 11 o'clock. That's in just about an hour. now. Yep, just about 1 hour's time. Tune in there to watch tonight's D&D campaign continue to unfold. It's going to be fun, I'm sure. But that's all for me. I will see you all again next time. Thank you all for the subs, the follows, all the wonderful things, and I will see you again soon. Take care.